welcome to Director's Corner. Thanks for watching this far. If you have, I want to talk a little bit about the behind the scenes and 3 specific lessons that I took that I learned from working on this film and on the wedding. Let's go. Let's start with the first one, pre-production and references. I know for shooting weddings, and even when I first started, man, it felt like it was just so chaotic, right? There's a handful of shots you kind of have to nail when you're on the ceremony, but otherwise, it just felt like I'm being pulled this way and that way. Time is always a huge crunch. But I think if you take a step back and weeks before, if not months, build out a proper pre-production plan, and I'll pop up our Millinote onto the screen for you now to look at. We had different palettes, we had different shot ideas, we had grades, we had, just a handful of things from Instagram to Pinterest to anything we could really find that we thought fit the vibe. And we were able to sit down with a couple, Jess and Brad, love them dearly, and chat through it and see if they liked it, make changes and not. And I promise you, like one of the specific shots in there of us running down and me kind of twirling around them, that shot was pre-planned long before the wedding day was happening. And I can guarantee you, with the kind of major time constraints we were facing at that particular wedding, that would have never happened otherwise if we had not pre-planned and knew that it was on our shot list to get to take for that day. And that also comes down to references, right? Look at other videos, watch other wedding filmmakers, see what they're making, see the different genres of filmmakers, right? I think one of the ideas I got from this one where the eye kind of flashed on screen really quickly, that came from a spec ad for a car that I found on YouTube. Well, Colton found on YouTube, and would have never thought to do that or edit it that way, but I loved the feeling and vibe that it took. So references and pre-production, I cannot encourage those more. Secondly, and I'm terming this texture, okay? It's this thing, it's definitely not new, but it's the term that I really like to use. And that's, when I look at a film, when I look at, video to begin with, I feel like there's a lot of toast involved. And I mean the editable thing. And what I mean by that is, I think more so now than ever, it's easy to get the very pretty aesthetic shots. Okay, we were shooting in Kananaskis. I promise you, you can point that camera almost anywhere and you're going to get something really, really pretty. But what I mean by toast is that those shots, those aesthetic ones, those just really beautiful ones, I kind of feel are that. They're the foundation for your film. They're needed, absolutely. But where the jam, the peanut butter, the Nutella, whatever you're adding onto your toast, maybe cinnamon sprinkles, I don't judge. I think that's where you can get some unique texture. I'm thinking of the shaky cam of me kind of running up and capturing them laughing all together. I think of the upside down mirror shot. That's really unique. I think of the slow shutter running around them shot. Those to me, sometimes technically maybe too shaky, maybe too slow shuttery, that's the term, but they add to the vibe of the video, to the energy of it. And I think without some of those specific shots for this teaser, I don't think it would have landed nearly as well as it could have. And so I encourage you, sometimes it's thinking outside the box. Sometimes it's, I don't know if that shot quite worked, but I'm going to try it anyways. And once you get to the edit, see how it goes from there. And the more you try, the more textures I think you can add. I don't think you need to cut on every second frame or, have only beautiful aesthetic shots. I think part of the wonderful thing of texture is it feels different. It keeps the viewer guessing what's going to come next. I don't know. Is it going to be another pretty wide shot or, a slow shutter kind of movement? I think that's just exciting and really enticing. And I want to do more of it in the films that I have coming up. And a little BTS actually for that running up, capture them laughing. A little bit of a sub lesson here. Hey, double check that you're recording first off, because I wasn't the first time. And thankfully, because, I've been doing this for 5+ years and some of my instinct kicked in, I checked the footage right afterwards, seeing I didn't have it. We did it again, and I thought it turned out wonderfully. So, hey, that shot might have never made the cut had you not checked if you were recording and double checked that you recorded it. Little lesson there. Lastly, as filmmakers, creators, trust your gut, especially if you have a bit of experience under your belt and you've been doing this for a little while. You probably have a sense of what is good, a good taste for what your clients might like, what others might like. And I think for this one in particular, this is probably one of my favorite pieces that I have ever built. This 45 seconds took me 5 or 6 hours probably. There's a lot of working through footage and everything there, but I think I just love how it turned out. I could feel the swelling of the music, the ambience, all those kinds of things. I made a bit of a decision that I wasn't going to include any dialogue, right? I had their vows and their speeches recorded. That made the full film outside of the teaser. But for this, I just wanted you to feel like you were witnessing and being in the moment. You were hearing the sounds, feeling the feels, for lack of a better term, right? Just experiencing the nature with the couple. And I think we kind of nailed that. So trust your gut. I think that's really important, especially as you do this for long periods of time. You probably have good taste, and I would rely on that. And, if you send it and your client doesn't like it, make the changes, obviously, but start to trust your gut and see what you can make. All right. That's it. That's all I have for this week. Thanks for joining me in Director's Corner, and I'll see you next week.